What's up? It's Marco, Sage Soccer, and since the World Cup is done, I wanted to give a quick team of the tournament. I watched every game, so I figured I should definitely do this, and yeah, I really haven't seen an official one yet, so it seems fun to do. I was going to do individual awards as well, but I mostly agree with them. End up having Messi as my player of the tournament. Mbappe has a really good case, but just how good Messi was in the knockout rounds, like really good game against Australia, that assist against the Netherlands, just amazed against Croatia, great in the final. Like, even if you put the penalties aside, like, he was amazing every game. While Mbappe was, shut down a good amount of the knockout round. So I feel pretty good about having Messi as my player of the tournament. And for young player of the tournament, like, I think there's a case for Jude Bellingham or Gavardiol, but I think Enzo Fernandez is a good pick. Like, I don't really disagree with that. The only thing I really, like, don't agree with is the Golden Glove. I end up going with Livakovic in goal, which I feel like he was having a good tournament for Croatia, but there wasn't really a standout goalkeeper. Like I thought Martinez for Argentina, like he was really not having the best World Cup. Lloris wasn't great as well. I don't think Bono from Morocco. I don't think he was having the best tournament. Chesney didn't go far enough. I think my second place ended up being Noppert for the Netherlands. Like I think Livakovic is a pretty good goalkeeper this tournament, and I end up going with him for my Golden Glove. For the actual team, just team of the tournament, I'm going to start up top because that's the positions that I feel the most confident in. At striker, I went Julian Alvarez. Just a great tournament, a ton of great work rate, good combination play as well. Even though he didn't start the tournament, Martinez was the starter at the beginning. He came in and had an amazing tournament. Got some really good goals and a ton of energy, like crucial to that Argentina team, and he needs to be in the squad. Then weighing Messi and Mbappe, like I already went over Messi, Mbappe, just crazy tournament as well. Like I say, like oh he got shut down in the knockout round. Like he wasn't as good as Messi this tournament. Like that's a close second. I think even against Morocco, he had a good game. England had to game plan for him so much to keep him out of that game, and like putting aside the three penalties, which is extremely impressive, being able to make all three against Martinez, who's a very good penalty stopper. Like getting that one goal in the final was crucial, even though he wasn't having the best game. Like I feel like Mbappe definitely has to be in the team. In the midfield, go with the midfield three of Amrabat, Griezmann, and Modric. There were a lot of players who were right on the edge, like Enzo Fernandez, as you mentioned before, Jude Bellingham, a couple other midfielders from Morocco, Croatia. I think you could make an argument for like McAllister or maybe like a Rabiot, but I feel good about these three. Modric was the heart and soul of that Croatia side. Just such a good player. Like I don't know how he still has that much energy at his age, and just elite technically. One of the best players of all time, and I think realistically has a case to be argued for like one of the best midfielders ever. Like did a great job. Griezmann was amazing for France. Again, like another player all over the field, popping up in attacking moments as well. Like he was doing so much defensive work that we're like, is he even a 10 anymore? He's doing such a great job. Like I think Griezmann's a pretty lockdown pick. Amrabat, so good defensively for Morocco. Probably earned himself a move to a pretty big club. Just doing so much work defensively, covering a ton of ground, and I think he's still a skilled player on the ball, and definitely is going to be a player to look out for. Then we move into the back line, and the back line is the hardest position for me to pick. I think I have two positions I feel good about. Hakimi at right back. I feel like getting up and down the field, really good. A lot of good goal contributions. Was part of that really strong defense. And I think Hakimi's a pretty good pick for right back. And then Gavardiol for Croatia. Aside from getting destroyed by Messi, but like he got to the semifinals. He put himself into a position where he was against the high levels of opposition. Like I feel like that's if I took him out for that game against Messi, that's punishing success. Like he should still be there. Just breakout tournament, like so good on the ball. Reads the game extremely well, especially for his age. Is athletic enough to compete at the highest level. Like I'm expecting him to be like one of the best players in the world for like the next 10 years. Like he was such a good player this tournament. Then we have the other center back and left back, which I feel like was the hardest positions to pick. There weren't really any great contenders for either of those positions. At center back, I was considering guys like Romero from Argentina, but I think he was a bit too slow of a start of this tournament. Otamendi after this final, you can't consider him. Veron was thinking about it, ended up not going with him. I think the center back that impressed me the most outside of Gvardiol was Nathan Ake for the Netherlands. That's who I'm going with. Amazing in the group stage and very good against my USA squad. And then I don't even think he was that bad against Argentina. I think he was a really solid center back and is my pick for the next guy in the team of the tournament. And Man City are just insane. Like having him, Laporte, Stones, Akanji, Diaz, like that's just come on. You got like the players have to be upset with that at some point. Like they're not playing enough. And then at left back, I ended up going with Theo Hernandez. I think he didn't have the best performance in the final. I didn't think he was that good in the quarterfinals against England. But it was kind of like process elimination. Like Argentina, Tagliafico and Acuna, like they were both playing. They were splitting time. You couldn't go with one over the other, in my opinion. Then Mazraoui for Morocco. I don't think he was one of their standouts, and he did end up picking an injury. Then you had Sosa for Croatia. Probably not. Didn't end up going with him. Like then even go to the quarterfinalists like Portugal, where you're going to go with Guerrero or Cancelo. Like none of them really stood out. Like definitely not Daley Blind. I was considering putting Nathan Ake at left back for a while. Then even with England, like Luke Shaw, I don't really think you could do that. Like he just ended up being Hernandez. He was really good offensively in a couple of moments. And despite a couple of weak games, I think he was the best player at his position, which isn't saying a ton, but I thought he did a good job. And I mentioned Livakovic in goal, so just think it's a pretty good team. I feel good about Alvarez, Messi, Mbappe, Modric, Griezmann, Amrabat. I feel like you can make a good argument against or for a lot of them. Griezmann's probably the most locked-in player in that team. And then defense, Gvardiol and Hakimi I feel good about. Ake, Hernandez, you could argue either way. If you want to go with Martinez strictly for his like one really good save in the final in like the 120th minute and his penalty shootout work, I can understand that. I can understand going with Szczesny for being a really good goalkeeper. But I think we're with Livakovic. I think it's a mix of them both. And yes, my opinions on the team of the tournament, players of the tournament, young player of the tournament, Golden Glove. Like, that's it. All I've talked about the World Cup was a fun tournament. Getting back into club action, going to have to think of what I'm going to be doing for there. Going to be have a different schedule, so I'm actually going to be able to cover the Champions League this year, so that's going to be fun. And back to the Premier League, that's going to be really fun to do, and some more USA stuff. And yeah, that's all I talked about.